question is that the Honorable Deputy Prime Minister be allowed under Standing Order 17(3) to take the time of the House for urgent business. Those in favour say aye, those against say no. The ayes have it.
Mr. Speaker, sir, having obtained your permission, I now beg to move under Standing Order 29(1) to present a motion without notice.
Seconded. The question is that the Honourable Deputy Prime Minister be allowed under Standing Order 29(1) to move a motion without notice. Those in favour say aye, those against say no. Aye. The ayes have it.
Mr. Speaker, sir, in view of your decision to name Honourable Juman, I beg to move that the Honourable Juman be suspended from the service of the Assembly for today's sitting and the next 6 sittings, unless unreserved apologies are tendered to the House.
Seconded. The question is that the Honourable Juman be suspended from the service of the Assembly for today's sitting and the next 6 sittings, unless unreserved apologies are tendered to the House. Those in favour say aye, those against say no. Aye. The ayes have it. Questions? We move to the next question. Honourable Leopold.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. B564.
Monsieur le Président, le Home Loan Payment Scheme est l'une des mesures phares introduites dans le budget 2021-2022. Mise en place pour soutenir la vision du gouvernement d'une société plus inclusive, elle a permis de faciliter l'accession à la propriété abordable pour des citoyens de la République de Maurice. Dans le cadre de ce programme, une personne éligible qui contracte un prêt immobilier garanti pour construire sa résidence bénéficie d'un remboursement de 5% du prêt jusqu'à un maximum de 500 000 roupies. Le programme est administré par le Registrar Général et a été prolongé dans le dernier budget. Cette mesure a eu un impact significatif sur le taux d'investissement, c'est-à-dire le ratio investissement sur le PIB. Pour rappel, le taux d'investissement est passé de 18,5% en 2014 à 23,5% en 2023 et devrait atteindre les 25% en 2024. Monsieur le Président, je souhaite rappeler à l'Assemblée que ce programme a toujours été applicable à Rodrigue. Je suis informé par le Registrar Général que depuis le début du plan, 6 demandes sous le Home Loan Payment Scheme ont été reçues de citoyens qui ont contracté un prêt immobilier garanti à Rodrigue. Afin de traiter les demandes, une copie de l'acte de prêt est demandée à l'institution prêteuse respective. Après le processus de vérification, les 6 demandes ont été approuvées et les paiements effectués. Merci.
Next question. Honourable Ochit.
B565. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Central Water Authority supplies water in 6 water supply zones across the island, and the regions of Triolet, Troubiche, Pointe-au-Piment, and Morcellement-Saint-André fall under the Water Supply Zone North, which has a total of 15,031 subscribers. These regions are serviced from Boismont Reservoir, New Plaine des Papayes Reservoir, Solitude Borehole, and a containerized filtration plant at Bassin Solitude. The daily hours of supply are 10 hours. I am informed by the Central Water Authority that the intermittency in water supply in these regions is primarily due to the following reasons. A, presence of old and defective asbestos cement or galvanized iron pipes that frequently burst, causing low water pressure or no supply, especially in elevated areas. B, inadequate water resources. C, periodic interruptions for repairs on damaged main service pipes or to facilitate new connections carried out by the CWA. D, disruptions from low service reservoir levels due to pump breakdowns, extended power outages, or decreased production from the irrigation authorities' pipeline. And E, water supply disruptions during the dry season as surface and groundwater levels drop. Mr. Speaker, sir, in my reply to PQB 1184 at our sitting of 17th October 2023, I had informed of measures being taken by the CWA to address these issues. The commissioning of one containerized pressure filter with a capacity of 2,500 meter cube per day at Bassin Solitude in December 2022, along with the installation of HDPE pipeline from Bassin Solitude to Triolet, has contributed to an improvement in water supply. Another containerized pressure filter with a capacity of 2,000 meter cube per day is being installed at Bassin Solitude to enhance the water supply in Triolet and Pointe-au-Piment. A third containerized pressure filter is planned to be commissioned at New Plaine des Papayes Reservoir to channel additional water towards Triolet, Troubiche, and Pointe-au-Piment. Moreover, old and defective pipelines have been replaced and new dedicated pipelines have been laid to improve water supply and pressure. The laying of a dedicated HDPE 200 millimeter pipeline, approximately 3 kilometers long, from New Plaine des Papayes Reservoir to Triolet upper parts, that is Comoti and Tago Road, is near to completion. Additionally, the replacement of old and defective pipelines is ongoing in the affected regions. Specific projects include the replacement of some 1,450 meters of old pipelines in Dodo Lane and Tago Lane, Pointe-au-Piment, and some 5,220 meters in Morcellement, Saint-André. Replacement of some 2,220 meters have already been completed in areas such as Calimai Road, Flamboyant Street, and Filao Street. Mr. Speaker, sir, the CWA is also contemplating to come up with additional boreholes at Solitude and New Plaine des Papayes Reservoir to further improve the water supply. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Is the Honourable Minister aware that the issue of water cuts in these regions was reported in l'Express newspaper on Sunday, highlighting the dissatisfaction with the service provided by CWA, and if so, has the Ministry conducted any assessment to address these concerns?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm aware of the situation just mentioned by the Honourable Member. I've queried the CWA and I was told that this was due to a problem that occurred on the Irrigation Authority network, and that had caused several water cuts in that region over a period of a number of days, Mr. Speaker, sir. But this is behind us. Supply has been restored, and I understand the situation is back to normal.
Next question.
B566.
Mr. Speaker, sir, the National Skills Development Programme, NSDP, which was announced in Budget Speech 2016-2017, is implemented by the Human Resource Development Council. The main aim of this programme is to train unemployed individuals to better match skills with demand of enterprises. Mr. Speaker, sir, I am informed by the HRDC that the NSDP is implemented following applications for training programs from industry associations and an enterprise or cluster of enterprises. Training programs have to be approved by either the Mauritius Qualification Authority or Higher Education Commission and delivered by training institutions duly registered with the Mauritius Qualification Authority or HEC. All training programs should also comprise a placement component during or at the end of training. Generally, training programs span between 3 and 12 months. The NSDP targets unemployed individuals having studied from primary school achievement certificate, PESAC, to a diploma level and aged between 16 and 59 years. Mr. Speaker, sir, the HRDC under this program covers the eligible training cost, and monthly stipend of 8,000 rupees is paid per trainee. Mr. Speaker, sir, I am informed that from 1st of October 2022 to 30th June 2024, there were 634 trainees under the NSDP, and since October 2022 to 30 June 2024, the HRDC has disbursed an amount of 40.5 million rupees under the NSDP, out of which 22.8 million representing stipend paid to trainees and 17.7 million representing training costs paid to training centers, which include, among others, fees for trainers, cost of training venue and training facilities, training material cost, development costs, administration, overhead, and other training-related costs.
Next question.
B 567.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I am informed by the Central Electricity Board that there are 5 engines of a capacity of 30 megawatt each at the Fort George Power Station, namely 2 from manufacturer Sulzer and the other 3 from MAN. I am further informed by the Central Electricity Board that following a procurement exercise for the provision of services for 10 years periodical maintenance of alpha lubricating system on the 3 MAN engines, a contract was awarded to Hyundai Global Service Europe, BV, for an amount of USD 261,301.53 on 2nd February 2023. The scope of works comprised A, the maintenance of the alpha lubricator system for the 3 engines, B, supply of spare parts required such as angle encoder, filters, coupling, non-return valves, solenoid valves, accumulator, and feedback sensor. C, programming of the 3 sets of electronic cards as spare for the units, and D, handing over of all programming devices, associated documentations, programming softwares, communication cables, list of plant set values, license certificate, and other accessories used to commission the equipment for their subsequent use. Execution of the maintenance on all 3 engines was scheduled to take place over the period 9th August to 15 September 2023. Mr. Speaker, sir, I have been informed that spare parts, except for the 3 sets of control cards which were intended for subsequent use, were delivered in several batches by Hyundai Global Service Europe, BV, to Fort George Power Station between 4th to 9th August 2023. As for the 3 sets of control cards, Hyundai Global Service Europe B.V had informed CB that it would in the first instance configure those that CB had procured in 2021. Subsequently, the maintenance works on the 3 engines were successfully completed on 15th September 2023 by 2 technical teams from Hyundai Global Service Europe B.V. Mr. Speaker, sir, with respect to the payment schedule, I am informed by the CB that the agreement provides for claims to be settled within 30 days after completion of service and upon submission of appropriate invoice. CB has informed that in October 2023, 2 invoices amounting to 193,801.53 USD and 67,500 USD respectively were received. Mr. Speaker, sir, I am informed that on 7th December 2023, CEB settled the 2 invoices through a bank transfer of 258,944.99 USD to the supplier's bank account according to the details provided by the supplier. Mr. Speaker, sir, with a view to confirming the payment, CEB transmitted copies of the outward remittance advice and SWIFT copy to the supplier on 14th December 2023. However, in April 2024, the supplier informed the CEB that since March 2024, Hyundai Global Service Europe BV had been renamed as HD Hyundai Marine Solution Europe B.V, and that payment for the 2 invoices amounting to 261,301.53 USD had not been received at their end. Following exchange of correspondences regarding payment documents between 2nd of May to 21st of May 2024, HD Hyundai Marine Solution Europe B.V informed CEB on 21st of May 2024 that the previous emails sent to CEB were erroneous and did not belong to the email domain of the company. The Internal Audit Department of the CEB was requested to carry out an investigation into the above matter on the 22nd of May 2024. Due to the seriousness and technicality of the issue, the Internal Audit Department submitted a preliminary report on 23rd June 2024. It concluded, among others, that the internal audit did not come across any element which could indicate a direct implication of CEB personnel in the phishing scam, and the most probable cause is a hacking of a Hyundai computer system. The Internal Audit Department is currently carrying out an in-depth and thorough investigation in the payment process. The matter has also been reported to the police. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Monsieur le ministre vient de confirmer à la Chambre, Monsieur le Président, que 12 millions de roupies, près de 13 millions de roupies, a été payé à une compagnie fantôme, fictif, scam. Est-ce que le ministre peut dire à la Chambre quand est-ce que le CEB a rapporté le cas à la police ou à la Financial Crime Commission?
No. In my reply, I said that they have reported the case to the police, and I understand that same was done last Friday.
Puisque ce paiement, on ne sait pas combien de paiements il y a, aujourd'hui on sait qu'il y a un paiement de 12 millions de roupies, puisque ce paiement a été approuvé par le Head of Finance du CEB, qui gère des milliards de roupies, et par le General Manager, est-ce que, Monsieur le ministre, compte prendre des sanctions concernant ce paiement de 13 millions de roupies qui s'est évanoui dans la nature contre le Head of Finance et le General Manager, qui les deux ont approuvé ce paiement à la hauteur de 13 millions de roupies?
Mr. Speaker, sir, I cannot take this decision. It is for the board of the CEB to take that decision. And I've said there is an ongoing inquiry. Let us have the conclusion of that inquiry. Then whatever decision has to be taken will be taken, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Next question.
B 568.
Mr. Speaker, sir,
With regard to part A of the question, I'm informed by the National Development Unit that a contract for the construction and upgrading of a network of drains in constituency number 20, comprising the construction of drain at Verger Bissamba Lane at Montroche, construction of drain along Charles Jolivet and Chanoin Rivalan Street, construction of drain along Lady Twinning Street, Beaubassin, and reconstruction of drain at Colonel Mengo Street, Beaubassin, was awarded to J. Ducan and Son Limited on 14th April 2018 for a total amount of 5.3 million inclusive of VAT. The cost of the works at Verger Bissamba Lane was estimated at 272,000 inclusive of VAT. The three projects along Charles Jolivet and Chanoin Street, Lady Twinning Street along Colonel Mengo Beaubassin were completed by the contractor. As regards the project at Verger Bissamba, the contractor had mobilized on site in May 2018 and the work was scheduled to be completed 7 June 2018. However, following representations made by the inhabitants, consultation was held with the then Honorable Parliamentary Private Secretary of Constituency 20 and representative of the Municipal Council of Beaubassin-Rosil, whereby it was decided that the drainage system in the locality would be reconsidered in a holistic way. The contract for works pertaining to Verger Bissamba was consequently cancelled. Mr. Speaker, sir, the services of Lux Consult as consultant under the framework contractor agreement for consultancy services was enlisted on the 7th September 2018 to study the region of Verger Bissamba, taking into consideration the complaints from the inhabitants and the problems reported, namely infiltration of water from the irrigation canal into the private properties, overflowing of irrigation canal during heavy rainfall, resulting in flooding of lateral roads and private properties, accumulation of water in regions along Verger Bissamba Road, and overflowing of existing absorption drain at Supramania Barrety Road at its junction with Verger Bissamba. Lux Consult submitted the feasibility study report on the 10th January 2019 and same could not be finalized for implementation of work as another study was being carried out upstream of Saint-Martin Road by another consultant, namely Servan Singh Jadhav and Partners Consulting Engineers Limited, under the mega project flood mitigation measures in the region of Plaisance, Rochebrune, Montroche, and La Chaumière. This project had a direct incidence on the drain work project at Verger Bissamba. The design for the project at Verger Bissamba had to be consequently kept on hold since Servan Singh Jadhav and Partners had recommended that the proposed solution for the mega project would entail channeling part of the flow from the upper region of Montroche through Supramania Barrety Road and downstream, hence impacting on the overflow and surface runoff of stormwater at Verger Bissamba. Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to inform the House that the region of Plaisance, Rochebrune, Montroche, and La Chaumière are fully built-up areas with extensive underground services and low-lying in topography with no natural water course to be used as outlet. Therefore, addressing the flooding issues in this region is very complex, challenging, and time-consuming in order to find a sustainable solution. Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to highlight that initially, the proposed design catered for discharge of stormwater into La Ferme Reservoir through Trianon Grosse Roche Feeder Canal. However, the Water Resources Unit has on the 9th September 2021 objected to the use of the reservoir as a final discharge point. Due to its precarious state, the Water Resources Unit instead proposed that the River Belle-Île be used as a discharge point on 28 September 2023. However, on 14 February 2024, the Water Resources Unit has informed that the project for upgrading of La Ferme Reservoir has been finalized and has requested that NDU to reconsider a new alignment to cross nearer to La Ferme Reservoir to cater for the overflow from the reservoir into our drain until the discharge point at River Belle-Île. This has considerably delayed the finalization of the design for this mega project. It is only after finalization of the design of this project that consideration for the drain project at Verger Bissamba could be reconsidered. Mr. Speaker, sir, regarding part B of the question, it is premature at this stage to confirm the completion date of the project. However, at this juncture, I'm informed that the project has a lifespan of 12 months upon appointment of a contractor. Thank you.
Comme mentionné par l'honorable ministre, en 2018, le consultant Lux Consult Limited avait mené une étude et avait soumis son rapport préliminaire afin de trouver des solutions aux problèmes d'inondation dans la région basse de Montroche. Mais par la suite, durant ces 6 années, il n'y a eu aucun développement, quoi que ce soit, et entre-temps, les habitants de Verger ont beaucoup souffert des inondations. L'honorable ministre peut-il donc déposer une copie du rapport final du consultant, et l'honorable ministre peut aussi donner l'assurance que les travaux vont débuter et que les habitants vont bientôt être soulagés des inondations.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I think it's too easy to come and say nothing has been done for 6 years. I've said, well, that we are here in a built-up area. We have challenges. Dealing with flooding issues is not dealing in an aquarium where you take the water to point A, you put it to point B. In fact, here we're trying to find a sustainable, long-term solution. In fact, as I've mentioned, there is no outlet in that part of the country. So the consultants are working, and I don't think it's also correct to come and ask for a copy of the report. We should know that this report will finally go on a tender document where we will have to have contractors to come and tender for that project. How can we make those reports public at this stage?
Next question.
Je vous remercie, Monsieur le Président. B569. Merci.
Mr. Speaker, sir, the Bejutombo Child Daycare Center, which is run by the National Children Council, was set up with a view to offering quality early child daycare to babies and toddlers in a deprived area, so that we can enable the mothers of these children the possibility to undertake gainful employment. With regard to cleaning logistics of the CDCC, I am informed that for upkeeping and regular maintenance of the yard, the following arrangements are in place. There is a nursery attendant who is responsible for the daily general cleaning of the center. There's also a handyman on the establishment of the National Children Council who is posted there twice weekly for the cleaning of the yard, and a general worker is also posted twice weekly to assist in the general cleaning of the child daycare center. Grass cutting is effected by an attendant from the National Children Council twice monthly, or as and when required, depending on the season. And acquisition has also been made for power tools and equipment such as a water pressure cleaner of high capacity, a bush cutter, and gardening tools, amongst others. Mr. Speaker, sir, furthermore, whenever the need arises, the Forestry Service is contacted for the trimming or the felling down of trees around or nearby the CDCC. I am informed that on the 5th of June this year, upon the request of the National Children Council, officers of the Special Mobile Force brought down a tree found in the premises of a pre-primary school, which is located at the rear of the child daycare center, because the roots of that tree were causing cracks in the concrete block wall which separates the pre-primary school and the CDCC. Arrangements, Mr. Speaker, sir, is also being made for trimming of another tree found in the yard of a grotto adjacent to the child daycare center. Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to inform the House that the child daycare center is found in a building which also houses a women's center on the first floor. With a view to ensuring a clean and conducive environment at the center, regular monitoring visits are effected by the staff of the National Children Council and the licensing section of my ministry, and to date, no complaint whatsoever has been received regarding the condition of the yard, which is kept clean and tidy. The last visit effected by senior staff of my ministry was on the 4th of July this year, confirm that the state of the yard is in good condition. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Monsieur le Président, une supplémentaire, s'il vous plaît. Deux supplémentaires, pardon.
Who can decide? You decide 2, 3, 4, 5 supplementary
Oui, OK,
questions?
très bien. I'm just asking, Mr. Speaker, sir.
You should not ask me.
OK. Alors, Monsieur le Président, je suis juste un peu choquée par rapport à la réponse de la ministre qui dit que la Cour est en très bon état et ce n'est pas les informations que j'ai. Par contre, je suis d'accord avec la ministre quand elle dit que c'est suite à ma question que le management est descendu le lendemain et en urgence, les travaux ont été entrepris. La ministre peut-elle indiquer à la Chambre pourquoi le poste de General Worker est resté vacant depuis 10 ans et trouve-t-elle acceptable que la NCC fasse appel à un attendant de manière sporadique, soit du shelter L'Oiseau du Paradis ou du Maibo Child Creativity Center pour assurer l'entretien de la Cour?
Mr. Speaker, sir, in my original reply to the PQ, I have made it very clear on what basis, twice weekly it is, that there is a general worker and an attendant who assist in the general cleaning of the said child daycare center. Thank you.
Yes, please. You can't just, Monsieur le Président, start talking. I should give you the floor. Don't make an abuse of your right to put questions. Now, the next question to Abbas Mahmoud, Honorable Abbas Mahmoud.
B570.
Mr. Speaker, sir, since this parliamentary question and PQ B574 refer to the same subject matter, I shall, with your permission, reply to both of them together. Mr. Speaker, sir, I am informed that as at date, there are 1,592 registered cooperative societies, out of which 1,390 are active. 6 schemes are available to support these cooperative societies. As regards the incentives associated with these schemes, I presume that the Honourable Second Member for Port Louis Maritime and Port Louis East would wish to know what are the financial incentives under the different schemes which the cooperative societies can benefit therefrom. Mr. Speaker, sir, these schemes, with their corresponding financial incentives, which I must point out are grants and are as follows. First, the Boost to Local Production Scheme. This scheme offers a grant of up to 300,000 rupees per cooperative society for the acquisition of new agricultural, agro-processing and value addition equipment and machinery, and or the purchase of livestock, excluding goat and sheep, to enhance local production. Second, the Livestock Farming Project Scheme, which provides cooperative societies engaged in goat sheep rearing with necessary support for the construction, upgrading or extension of sheds and the purchase of goats, sheep for breeding and fattening. Each cooperative society in this activity can benefit from a grant of 200,000 rupees. Third, the Zero Budget Natural Farming Scheme, which aims at promoting green and sustainable agriculture. It encourages cooperative societies to adopt new farming techniques and produce natural fertilizers at a reduced cost. Each cooperative society can be allocated 200,000 rupees as grant for the purchase of cows and the construction of cow sheds. Fourth, the waste recycling schemes. This scheme motivates cooperative societies to diversify their activities and adopt sustainable practices by participating in circular economy. A 50% grant up to a maximum of 500,000 rupees per cooperative society can be provided for the purchase of recycling equipment and transportation vehicles from local suppliers. Fifth, the Seedling Production Scheme, which supports cooperative societies in establishing or upgrading a seedling production unit for vegetables and fruits, each cooperative society can avail itself of a grant for an amount of 200,000 rupees for the purpose. And the sixth, the digitalization scheme, which offers a 50% grant up to a maximum of 100,000 per cooperative society to facilitate the adoption of digital tools, application and technologies. Mr. Speaker, sir, for a cooperative society to be eligible to benefit from the grant schemes, which I have just enumerated, it would need to satisfy the following common criteria. First, it should be an active and operational society and not a dormant one. It should not be in arrears with regard to payment of annual fees. It should not be under liquidation, and it should submit a detailed project write-up, including the project's objectives, expected outcomes, budget and implementation plan. Mr. Speaker, sir, as regards Part A of PQB 574, that is quantum disbursed for the financial year 2023-2024, I have been informed that letters of awards have already been issued to 146 beneficiaries for a total amount of 33.8 million rupees. Disbursement is effected as and when valid invoices are being submitted by the respective beneficiary cooperative societies to my ministry. Mr. Speaker, sir, insofar as the last part of PQB 574 is concerned, that is the processing time for the allocation of funds, I wish to inform the House that applications received are processed in a timely manner and is contingent upon their completeness and accuracy. The processing of an application involves the following step. A review of the application and project write-up with the view to ensuring that besides complying with the established eligibility criteria, it has submitted all the required documents and information, the evaluation of the project by a technical committee set up, the approval and issuance of a letter of award once the evaluation is complete, and the disbursement of funds upon submission of valid invoices and confirmation of project milestones.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Can the Honourable Minister provide a breakdown of the number of beneficiaries under each grant scheme and the corresponding amount approved for disbursement for the financial year 2023-2024?
As I told in my reply, 146 cooperative societies beneficiated for an amount of 33.8. For each of them, Boost to Local Production Scheme, a total amount approved was 20.5 million for 78 cooperatives. For Livestock Farming Project, 3.5 million was approved for 18 cooperative societies. For the Zero Budget Natural Farming Scheme, 1.5 million was approved for 8 cooperative societies. For Waste Recycling Scheme, 205,000 rupees for 1 cooperative society. And for Seedling Production Scheme, 7.8 million for 41 cooperative society. As for the digitalization scheme, this is a new scheme announced in the budget speech, and the criteria allocation for grant of these schemes is being worked out.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, can the Honourable Minister state if there is any training component associated with the grant schemes to ensure that cooperative societies are well prepared to implement their projects effectively?
Yes, at the Ministry of Cooperatives, at the Division of Cooperatives, there is a comprehensive training program associated with each grant scheme, and the societies have to undergo a training program at the National Cooperative Society, which is the training arm of my ministry.
Next question.
B571.
Mr. Speaker, sir, Government of Mauritius is actively following at least 2 cases at the level of the International Court of Justice concerning the cause of Palestinian people. First case is the case of the advisory opinion, and the second case is the case concerning on the genocide treaty. Mr. Speaker, sir, on the first case of the advisory opinion, it is to be recalled that on 22nd of February of this year, Mauritius participated in the oral hearings at the International Court of Justice on the request for an advisory opinion pursuant to the United Nations General Assembly Resolution 77/247 pertaining to the question of Palestine. On the second case, namely under the genocide treaty, it is to be recalled that on 29 December 2023, South Africa filed an application instituting proceedings against Israel concerning alleged violations by Israel of its obligations under the Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide, commonly referred to as the Genocide Convention, in relation to Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. In its application, South Africa also requested the court to indicate provisional measures in order to protect against further severe and irreparable harm to the rights of the Palestinian people under the Genocide Convention and to ensure Israel's compliance with its obligations under the Genocide Convention not to engage in genocide and to prevent and to punish genocide. In that case, Mr. Speaker, sir, public hearings on South Africa's request for provisional measures were held on 11 and 12 January 2024. The ICJ delivered 2 orders on provisional measures, Mr. Speaker, sir. The first one on 26 January 2024, and the second one on 24th May 2024. Mr. Speaker, sir, in line with its principled stance for the upholding of international law, Government of Mauritius supports all initiatives with the aim of upholding the respect for international law, including on the question of Palestine. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Yes, thank you. Okay, since the Honourable Minister has mentioned about support, can I ask him whether government will support and sign a petition that was coordinated by Mrs. Rajni Lala of Mouvement Libération Femmes, dated 12th of June 2024 and submitted to the Honourable Prime Minister through his office, seeking support across the political spectrum to support the South African ICJ case, just like leaders of other political parties in Mauritius have, Mauritius Labour Party, MMM, PMSD, l'Union Maurice, and Lalit, and even Nouveau Démocrate.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I will need a specific question to that, because I have not seen that petition. I understand from the question that it was addressed to the Honourable Prime Minister. I can surely look into that. The House and the population at large will appreciate the stand taken by Mauritius as a country which has been consistent over the years. It has not evolved with this government or that government. The state of Mauritius has consistently supported the Palestinian people in all forums. If I have to name all the resolutions and in different forums, whether in Geneva or New York, I will have to take hours of the House. But there has been consistency. In fact, let me recall also that formal diplomatic relations were established between Mauritius and the state of Palestine ever since 1988, Mr. Speaker. And we have been consistently supporting the Palestinian cause.
Question sufficiently canvassed. Honorable Bodan, next question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. B/572.
Mr. Speaker, sir, ensuring availability of quality and nutritious food and access thereto have always been a priority of this government. In this respect, we have been and are still making every possible effort to to at least sustain the local production in sectors where we are already self-sufficient, and to increase production in other sectors to meet our requirements. Mr. Speaker, sir, currently some 40 different types of vegetables, root crops, and spices are cultivated by both small planters and corporate growers across the island. So much so that with a production of over 150,000 tons per year, we are today self-sufficient in fresh food crops. Indeed, Mr. Speaker, sir, since 2019 onwards, our local production has increased from 96,900 tons to reach approximately 154,000 tons in 2023, representing an increase of 58.8%. This has been possible, amongst others, due to an increase in the area under cultivation from around 7,400 hectares to 9,000 hectares over the period 2019 to 2023. Increased production under sheltered farming, such as hydroponics and net houses, which in general produce more and better yields and have a higher productivity under the same area, and also numerous facilities, support and assistance given to planters through a panoply of schemes being operated by my ministry. For the period January to April 2024, Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm informed that only 31,199 tons of fresh food crops have been produced. This is mainly due to the extreme weather conditions that have prevailed since the beginning of this year. Mr. Speaker, sir, Mauritius, like many small island developing states, is dependent on the importation of food. In fact, we import almost 75% of our food requirements. Although most of our fresh vegetables needs are locally produced, items such as rice, wheat flour, and cereals, which constitute our staple food, cannot be cultivated locally due to our limited size and because these specific crops are not adapted to the local climate and thus have to be imported. Some vegetables are also imported for niche markets and after calamities, such as cyclones, when our local production is affected. According to figures from the Mauritius Revenue Authority, the quantity of imported vegetables, excluding potato, onion, and garlic, decreased from around 24,204 tons in 2019, with a cost, insurance, and freight value of approximately 1.1 billion rupees to around 22,987 tons in 2023, with a CIF value of approximately 1.8 million rupees. It is to be noted that the increase in CIF value is largely due to an increase in freight cost. I'm informed that from January to the 3rd of July of this year, around 14,779 tons of vegetables have been imported for a CIF value of approximately 1.2 million rupees. In fact, a larger quantity of vegetables such as carrots, cabbages, sweet peppers, beans, and beetroots, amongst others, had to be imported following the passage of Cyclone Belal and the adverse weather conditions I mentioned earlier. I should also mention, Mr. Speaker, sir, that to boost our local production, a range of measures, schemes, and support are being extended to farmers. However, our scope for action is severely constrained by the vagaries of climatic conditions and its related consequences. For instance, water scarcity, droughts, soaring temperatures, precipitations, floods, cyclones, and increasing incidence of pests, all of which affect our local production. This is the reason why my ministry is encouraging planters to adopt climate-resilient practices. Mr. Speaker, sir, with regard to strategic crops, which consist essentially of potato and onion, and the local production of which represents a significant component of our agricultural industry, I'm informed that the local production of potato increased by 11.4% from 14,822 tons in 2019 to 16,518 tons in 2022. A slight decrease to 13,719 tons was recorded for the year 2023 in view of unfavorable climatic conditions, which brought about an increase in the incidence of pests and diseases and bacterial wilt, for which there is no remedy so far. As for onions, the local production increased from 3,219 tons to 5,402 tons from 2019 to 2023, representing an increase of 67.8%. Furthermore, potatoes and onions being seasonal crops, we are compelled to import these off-season to supply our local market. In 2019, we imported 6,960 tons of potatoes, while 8,004 tons were imported in 2023 for an amount of 233.9 million rupees. And for the period January to June this year, around 12,669 tons of potatoes were imported, as local production had been destroyed again following the passage of Cyclone Belal and adverse weather conditions. For onions, Mr. Speaker, sir, imports decreased by 20.7% from 14,727 tons in 2019 to 11,676 tons in 2023, costing us 312.8 million rupees. Concerning the local production of fresh fruits, Mr. Speaker, sir, such as bananas, pineapples, melon, pawpaw, watermelon, strawberry, lychee, longan, mango, and avocado, same was 20,791 tons for the year 2019, and the production increased by 10.6% to reach 22,992 tons in 2023. Since most of our fruits are seasonal and are not available all year round, we have to import fruits as well. In 2019, we imported 27,632 tons of fresh fruits. This decreased to 26,945 tons in 2023. The importation figure for the period January to 3rd July 2024 stood at 15,391 tons for a CIF value of 1.1 million rupees. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is not a secret to anyone that the livestock sector faces many challenges, such as a decline in traditional backyard production, which operates singly on a low-input, low-output system of production, the lack of breeders due to an aging population of breeders, decline of interest in this field, scarcity of land for grazing and pasture, and the environmental threats that livestock breeding pose to our groundwater. Nonetheless, Mr. Speaker, sir, we are since some years now self-sufficient in poultry. In fact, the production of poultry increased from 51,000 tons in 2019 to 59,200 tons in 2023. As regards to beef, goat, mutton, and pork meat, the local production has remained quasi-constant over the past 5 years, with a production of 2,667 tons in 2023. On the other hand, our milk production has increased by around 11.5% from 2.5 million litres in 2019 to 2.8 million litres in 2023. As regards local honey production, Mr. Speaker, sir, which also forms part of the livestock sector, an increase of 32% has been recorded from 25 tons in 2019 to 33 tons in 2023. The importation figures in the livestock sector has also been on the decreasing trend. Around 17,115 tons of items such as frozen meat, frozen poultry products, chilled, processed, and pre-cooked meat, canned beef, mutton, and poultry products, and natural honey, amongst others, were imported in 2020. This figure decreased to 16,454 tons in 2023. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Minister for his extensive reply. May I ask the Honourable Minister, he said that the crop acreage has increased. So I wanted to know whether it has increased among the small planters or whether it has increased among the big producers.
Well, for me, it's both the small planters and also the corporate growers as well. As you're already aware that some have moved out of sugarcane and went into other crops. So we've seen that trend both among the corporate growers and also among the small farmers as well.
Please.
One more. Yeah. Can the minister consider the possibility of having price support to boost production in certain specific areas, in certain specific crops?
I mean, we are already subsidizing a number of crops. Those are what we call strategic crops. I mean, if we look at potatoes and onions, the prices are, in a way, controlled, if I may say so. And you will recall that during the post-Belal time, we had to intervene through the Ministry of Finance to provide that a number of crops other than potatoes and onions, like carrots, beans, cabbages, and even chilies, were being imported and were being put on the market at the subsidized price. So the government do intervene as and when the need is felt.
Next question.
B573.
Mr. Speaker, sir, antimicrobial resistance, AMR, occurs when bacteria, viruses, fungi, and parasites mutate over time and no longer respond to conventional medications documented for their therapeutic use. At the G20 meeting held in 2022-2023, it was unanimously agreed that antibiotic resistance is among the top 10 global public health threats and represents an urgent health challenge for the next decade. The committee, inter alia, recommended that to better address the antimicrobial resistance threat, robust surveillance and monitoring are required globally. In addition, scaling up collaborative, coordinated, One Health AMR surveillance, risk assessment, and interventions have to be reinforced by all member countries. In this context, a One Health Steering Committee on AMR and zoonosis was set up in 2023 to oversee the implementation of action plans related to AMR and to ensure that the prevalence of AMR decreases in the country. Thereafter, a new action plan, national action plan on AMR, has been developed in collaboration with the World Health Organization, and same was approved by my ministry in 2024. The action plan focuses on the One Health approach, which comprises multiple strategies that the country will employ to combat AMR. As such, it ensures the continuity of successful evidence-based treatment and prevention of infectious diseases with effective, safe, and rational use of medicine. Mr. Speaker, sir, firstly, it has been observed antibiotics are misused without unnecessary prescriptions from doctors who prescribe them to treat flu, bronchitis, and other illnesses not caused by bacteria, or without properly testing and diagnosing the patient first. Secondly, self-medication by patients who take leftover antibiotics from other people is very well known in the country, while some patients do not complete their course of antibiotics as prescribed by their doctor. Thirdly, some pharmacists dispense antibiotics to the public without a doctor's prescription as established in the Pharmacy Act, while some doctors prescribe underdosed antibiotics or antibiotics for an exceedingly long duration. And fourthly, prophylactic use, that is, utilization as a preventive measure in the agricultural or veterinary sectors, can lead to antimicrobial resistance. Mr. Speaker, sir, in order to better evaluate progress, national indicators on AMR were created in 2023. Outbreaks of AMR occurring in all regional hospitals are notified every month, and investigations are carried out by infection prevention control teams. Furthermore, isolation rooms are under construction in several hospitals, while the one at SSR Hospital is already operational. In addition, isolation bays were also added to the NICU of SSRN Hospital in 2023, so as to isolate infants infected with multi-drug resistant organisms. Mr. Speaker, sir, my ministry submits data on AMR annually to WHO's Global Antimicrobial Resistance and Use Surveillance System, GLOS, while antibiograms created using this data are being uploaded on the Mobianet app for use by healthcare workers. Mr. Speaker, sir, antimicrobial stewardship teams comprising of specialists in internal medicines, registered medical officers, IPC, nursing officer, and pharmacists have been set up this year for each health region with a view to reducing the misuse of antibiotics. In the same breath, the national guideline on antibiotics was endorsed by the ministry in January 2024 with a view to helping to guide healthcare workers to optimally use antibiotics.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. From his reply, the Minister mentioned that there is a misuse of antibiotics. May we thus know what is being done at the level of his ministry to prompt medical practitioners to prescribe antibiotics optimally? Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir. As already stated, antimicrobial stewardship teams have been set up in this year in each region. This will help to reduce the misuse of antibiotics. National guideline on antibiotics was endorsed by ministry again this year. This again will help to guide healthcare workers to optimally use antibiotics. CMEs on AMR were conducted in last year, 2023. New presentations on AMR being developed this year, and antimicrobial stewardship teams are expected to carry out new CMEs in each region, as well as a diploma course, IPC and AMR was organized by MIH and Bordeaux, which ended last month, that is last month in June 2024.
Next question, MP Béranger, absent. MP David.
B576.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm informed that Kensington in Pointe-aux-Sable falls under the CWA's water supply zone, Port Louis. The regions of Grande Rivière Northwest and Port Louis West are supplied with potable water from three sources, namely Pai Water Treatment Plant, which receives raw water from municipal dike, Bagatelle Water Treatment Plant, which is fed with water from Bagatelle Dam, and Pierrefonds Tunnel. The Pointe-aux-Sable region, including Kensington, is primarily supplied with potable water sourced from the new Bosquet Reservoir. This reservoir receives water from the Pierrefonds Tunnel and the La Forge borehole. Currently, the water supply to approximately 4,100 subscribers in Pointe-aux-Sable is on a 24-hour basis, except the Kensington area, where some 100 CWA subscribers experience intermittent water supply during peak hours, resulting in low water pressure since it is located on the highest spot. In response to this challenge, the CWA has planned improvement works. These include pipe laying works to boost pressure and flow to the Kensington area from the Laforge borehole. Additionally, there will be an upgrade of the Laforge borehole pump, thereby increasing daily production for Pointe-aux-Sable region from 2,100 meter cube per day to 4,000 meter cube per day. I am informed that these enhancements are expected to be completed by the end of July 2024. Once these works are implemented, it is expected that residents in the Kensington area will have a significant improvement in water supply and pressure. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. J'ai bien entendu donc le calendrier des travaux qui prendront fin juillet, donc à la fin de ce mois-ci. En attendant que ces améliorations soient faites et effectives sur le réseau de distribution d'eau à Kensington, puis-je demander au ministre s'il pourrait envisager auprès de la CWA une fourniture plus régulière d'eau à travers les camions-citernes auprès de ces 150-160 familles qui sont réellement en souffrance quotidiennement.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir, I shall convey the message of the request of the honourable member to the CWA.
Next question.
7.
Mr. Speaker, sir, in the aftermath of COVID-19 pandemic in 2020 and its impact on workplaces, the National Training and Reskilling Scheme was introduced as one of the components of the Economic Recovery Program. The main purpose of the scheme is to assist those who have lost their jobs due to COVID-19 pandemic by training and reskilling them so that they can rejoin the workforce, and also to ensure that people are work ready by improving their employability skills once the economy recovers from the impact of the pandemic. The NTRS targets unemployed individuals between 16 and 59 years. Training costs and stipend payable to trainees under the scheme are borne by the government through the Ministry of Finance, Economic Planning and Development. Mr. Speaker, sir, I am informed that the HRDC is implementing the NTRS since January 2021 in collaboration with various stakeholders. The courses are dispensed through training institutions registered with the MQA or the Higher Education Commission. In principle, the HRDC receives applications for training courses from industry associations, government-funded institutions with training capabilities, and Rodrigue Regional Assembly. Courses under the NTRS have to be approved by either the MQA or HEC. Industries associations choose their own registered training institutions based on their skills, needs, and capabilities of registered training institutions to mount NTRS courses. The MITD also partners with the HRDC to implement courses under the NTRS. Mr. Speaker, sir, I am informed by the HRDC that since the start of the scheme in 2021 up to 30th of June 2024, 16 registered training institutions have been providing training under the scheme. During the same period, a total amount of 78,662,045 rupees was paid to these 16 institutions during 3 financial years as follows: 2021-2022, 18,452,365 rupees; 2022-2023, 30,317,778 rupees; 2023 and 2024, 29,891,902 rupees. Mr. Speaker, sir, as requested by the honourable member, I am tabling the list of the training institutions and the amount paid to each of them under the NTRS during the last 3 financial years.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Will the Honourable Minister inform the House if any research or survey has been carried out to identify areas where skills development are needed in view of the emerging demands of the labour market?
Well, Mr. Speaker, sir, the honourable member must come with a specific question, as this question pertains to the economic recovery programme and the course delivered by the NTRS.
Next question.
B578.
Mr. Speaker, sir, the Central Water Authority operates an extensive potable water distribution network covering all sectors of the economy with a total length of 5,246 kilometers. Within this network, approximately 1,500 kilometers of pipelines ranging from 50 to 80 years old are outdated and exhibit significant deficiencies, including substantial losses, frequent bursts, and inadequate carrying capacity. These aging pipes, composed of asbestos cement, cast iron, galvanized iron, steel, and polyvinyl chloride, are challenging to repair and account for 50 to 60% of the system's wastage. To address this issue, the CWA has prioritized the replacement of about 500 kilometers of these critical pipelines across all 6 water supply zones for the calendar years 2023 and 2024. The CWA's strategy for the replacement program comprises the following: A, in-house replacement plans that focuses on the replacement of pipelines less than 1 kilometer in length. B, through small and medium contractors that target pipe replacements between 1 kilometer and 3 kilometers, specifically on medium lateral roads and unclassified roads throughout the island. And C, capital projects that concentrate on the replacement of pipelines exceeding 3 kilometers, primarily on classified RDA roads. Mr. Speaker, sir, I am informed by the Central Water Authority that Great Standard Solution Limited has been awarded 5 contracts for the renewal of service mains and replacement of pipeline under the pipe replacement program in the regions of Bramstan, Bel Air, Isidore-Rose, and Plaine-Magnan. Mr. Speaker, sir, the CWA has informed that Bramstan region received its potable water supply from Reservoir Bonne Mer and a containerized filtration plant at Bramstan. To address leakage in the existing water distribution network, CWA has planned a comprehensive pipe replacement project spanning approximately over 6.9 kilometers. This project has been divided into 4 phases. I am informed that Great Standard Solutions Limited has been awarded contracts for 2 phases, namely 1, renewal of service main in the region of Bramstan, Zone 4, awarded on the 9th of February 2024 with a contract value of 7,758,098.25 rupees. The project began on 18th March 2024 and is scheduled to be completed by end of July 2024. CWA has informed that 1.8 kilometer of pipelines is planned for replacement. The project covers several roads in Zone 4 of Bramstan, such as Lagete Road and Laterals and Shivala Road. 2, renewal of pipeline in the region of Bramstan along Dominic Road, Kalimai Road, number 1, Gibbon Lane and Laterals, awarded on the 25th of March 2024. The contract is valued at 7,537,962.08 rupees. The project started on 13th May 2024 with a scheduled completion date set for 11th August 2024. As of now, 0.23 kilometers of the plan, 1.3 kilometers of pipelines have been laid. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Bel Air region is supplied with potable water from Reservoir Belrose and Borehole 42C. Its aging network is subject to frequent leaks and bursts that disrupt water supply, and to address these issues, CWA has identified approximately 7.7 kilometers of pipes for replacement. The project is divided into 4 phases. I am informed that Great Standard Solutions Limited has been awarded on the 1st of April 2024 the contract for one phase, namely the renewal of the service main along Railway Road, Damri Road, Dorbeck Road, and their respective laterals in the region of Bel Air Flat. The contract is valued at 8,429,908.20 rupees. The project started on the 19th of June 2024 with a scheduled completion date set for 18th September 2024. Mr. Speaker, sir, the region of Isidore Rose received its potable water supply from Constance and Bonne-Mère reservoirs. The aging AC pipes in the current network cause significant disruptions in water supply due to frequent burst and leakage. To address same, CWA has identified approximately 1.4 kilometers of pipelines for replacement in the region. The contract for renewal of pipeline along Swami Vivekananda, Palmier Road, Kalimai Road, and Baiswa Road in the region of Isidore Rose was awarded to Great Standard Solutions Limited on 31st of May 2024 with a contract value of 8,462,334.30 rupees. The tentative start date is the end of July 2024 with a scheduled completion date by the end of September 2024. Mr. Speaker, sir, I am informed that the region of Résidence Balance in Plaine Maillan relies predominantly on aged AC pipes for its water supply infrastructure. Frequent bursts and leakages severely affect water distribution in the area. To alleviate these issues and enhance water supply reliability, approximately 1.2 kilometers of pipelines have been identified for replacement in the region. I am informed that the project for renewal of pipeline at Résidence Balance, ex-Cité, Plaine Maillan, has been awarded to Great Standard Solutions Limited on the 28th March 2024 for a value of 7,407,235.50 rupees. Work started on the 13th of May 2024 with a scheduled completion date of 10th August 2024. As at date, I am informed that 600 meters of HDPE pipe have already been laid. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Si, Monsieur le Président, si mon compte est bon, 37 millions, plus de 37 millions de roupies à Great Standard Solutions Limited, incorporé, Monsieur le Ministre, en février 2023. La question qui se pose, Monsieur le Ministre, est-ce que Great Standard Limited, puisque ces pipes, ces tuyaux sont sous terre, quelle garantie la CWA a que Great Standard Limited, avec quelques mois d'existence, a l'expérience voulue pour la pose de ces pipes à la hauteur de 37 millions de roupies?
Mr. Speaker, so I cannot reply on that because I don't have the details with me. It is for the CWA to assess the contractor whenever they are allocating contracts to that contractor, whether he has the required experience to carry out works that will be entrusted to him.
Next question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. B7579.
Mr. Speaker, sir, it has been a long-standing practice over the years for students following full-time courses at tertiary institutions to have a job placement in organizations, including in the public sector. In some cases, the job placement may form part of the mandatory academic requirements of the universities concerned. However, the job placement for the university student was being done in the public service without a proper framework. In that context, my ministry has come up with a defined structure where a centralized digital platform has been developed to facilitate work placement of university students in the public service. The objective of this initiative is to promote transparency, accountability, visibility, equity and fairness in the treatment of requests for job placement. Mr. Speaker, sir, in spite of the fact that working in the public sector is hectic and demanding, many young graduates are willing to join and embrace a career in the public service. My ministry recognizes that young talents have an instrumental role to play in the socio-economic development of our country. Indeed, the public sector provides an unmatched and attractive work environment in view of its diversity, complexity, and stable organization setup. Such an environment represents a unique value proposition for our university students to gain valuable insight. Mr. Speaker, sir, my ministry issued a circular letter number 50 of 2nd July 2024 to all ministries and departments to inform them that the operationalization of the centralized work placement scheme. Some of the salient components of this scheme are as follows. First, the scheme targets undergraduate and postgraduate Mauritian students who are enrolled on full-time courses in tertiary education institutions in Mauritius and which are accredited by the Higher Education Commission. Application for work placement should be submitted by the tertiary education institutions on the centralized digital platform for and on behalf of the student. My ministry will thereafter channel the student to the respective ministry department of the parastatal organization. The work placement will not exceed 3 months. A monitoring and evaluation mechanism will be put in place by my ministry to ensure the work placement undertaken by students in the respective ministry and department and parastatal organization are relevant and have contributed to the employability. Stipends amounting to 750 rupees per week, inclusive of transport, which may be subject to revision, will be met under the vote item of the respective ministries, department, and parastatal organizations.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So may we know from the Minister when this scheme will be launched?
Mr. Speaker, I'm informed that my ministry will officially launch the scheme on 18 July 2024, followed by a training session for all users nominated by the university, ministry, and department in order to ensure a seamless implementation of the scheme. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. B580.
Mr. Speaker, sir, food security remains the priority of this government. As indicated in my reply to parliamentary question B518 last week, efforts of my ministry are geared primarily towards the improvement of our food security, especially with the repercussions of global strife and adverse climatic conditions which bring about food shortage. This explains the reason why my ministry has elaborated a strategic plan on our food system for the years 2024-2030. Mr. Speaker, sir, this plan has been worked out following une assise de l'agriculture held in March last year and which was attended by some 150 experts, academia, researchers, and stakeholders from the public and private sectors, including farmers, Outer Island Development Corporation, and the Rodriguez Commission for Agriculture. The strategic plan is aligned with the Sustainable Development Goal, SDG 2, which is to end hunger, achieve food security, and improved nutrition and promote sustainable agriculture. It highlights all the current and upcoming challenges in the agricultural sector and the related areas of intervention. It also builds on achievements and on lessons learned over the last 5 years while addressing and mitigating the identified shortcomings. In this respect, cluster analysis have been made for the food crop sector comprising of potato, onion, garlic, cucurbits, crucifers, legumes and pulses, starch crops, tomato and fruits, and our livestock cluster that is on the production of poultry, cattle, deer, goat, sheep, pig and apiculture. Provisions for Rodrigues and Agalega has also been made in the plan. It is to be highlighted that the plan excludes fish production, which falls under the Ministry of Blue Economy, Marine Resources, Fisheries and Shipping. As per the plan, our agricultural sector is expected to grow at an average rate of 6% per year over the next 5 years. Mr. Speaker, sir, to achieve this target, the plan makes provision for a three-pronged approach. Firstly, boosting production of resilient food security. The targets are to increase production of food crops by 15% under open field, increase production by 100% under protected structures, increase meat production by 50%, and increase honey production by 20%. The areas of intervention are to develop and upgrade appropriate production infrastructures, improve access to inputs like planting materials and animal feed, and research and development. Secondly, promoting sustainable and resilient production. The targets are to train all farmers in sustainable agricultural practices and increase by 10% acreage under sustainable agriculture. The areas of intervention are geared towards sustainable agricultural practices, integrated pest and disease management, promotion of biofarming, and developing smart and innovative production systems. And thirdly, encouraging entrepreneurship and agro-processing. The targets are to train 100 agro-entrepreneurs per annum with a view to increasing by 10% per annum the number of entrepreneurs involved in agri-business. The areas of intervention are to promote value addition, develop appropriate market structures, and capacity building and professionalization of operators and institutions. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is good to note that the targets have been set in line with the government program and Vision 2030. In addition, the areas of interventions in the strategic plan are pursuant to international and regional commitments such as the United Nations SDGs, the United Nations Food Systems Summit, the Comprehensive Africa Agriculture Development Programme, the Southern African Development Community, SADC Plant Genetic Resources, the SADC Harmonized Fertilizer Regulatory Framework, SADC Harmonized Seed Regulatory System, the World Organization for Animal Health, the Indian Ocean Commission Regional Programme for Food Security and Nutrition, as well as the agricultural commitments to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, as outlined in the nationally determined contributions. Mr. Speaker, sir, the strategic plan will thus ensure inclusive participation of all stakeholders in line with the United Nations approach to leave no one behind in the transformation of our agri-food systems into a more efficient, inclusive, resilient, and sustainable one, and for better production, better nutrition, as well as for a better environment and better quality of life. I must also say, Mr. Speaker, sir, that the strategic plan acknowledges the constraints and challenges faced by the agricultural sector. As we all know, the sector is continuously facing several threats and emerging challenges, namely climate change and its adverse impacts, health emergencies, land scarcity, aging farming population, lack of quality standards, as well as international conflicts, amongst others. As a consequence, building resilience is critical for vulnerable small island states like ours. Mr. Speaker, sir, the strategic plan also focuses on strengthening the governance, regulatory, and institutional capacity of the agricultural sector at local, regional, and international levels. There is thus need to develop appropriate legal and institutional frameworks to enable its effective implementation, as well as create a right and enabling environment for the agriculture sector development and a sound governance systems. Same are underway. Pending the release of the strategic plan, which is for soon, Mr. Speaker, sir, various measures have been taken to boost the agricultural sector, the details of which I have provided in my reply to Parliamentary question B572. The House may wish to note that we are self-sufficient in local food crops and poultry. Our milk and honey production are increasing gradually, while our importation in fresh fruits is on the decreasing trend. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Thank you, Chair. Given that the government has been in power for nearly 10 years now, is the Minister aware of the growing public dissatisfaction and loss of confidence in the government ability to achieve?
This is not a supplementary question, you see. You should know by now what is a supplementary question, honorable member. You can't make comments and observation and supplementary question and debate. Where have you learned all this? Where did you see that? Put your question if you have one.
What measures are being taken to restore public confidence and provide a tangible results in self-sufficiency?
Well, Mr. Speaker, sir, had the honourable member listened to the previous question put to me by Honourable Boda, he would have got the reply already.
So we move to the next question.
B582.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I am informed that for the period 2019 to date, a total of 449 drug users under the age of 18, of which 7% were girls, were admitted in our public health institutions, namely Nénuphar, Frangipane, and Orchidée, for detoxification and rehabilitation, and also in hospitals as follows: 138 in 2019, 89 in 2020, 59 in 2021, 54 in 2023, 77 in 2023, 32 in 2024, that is up to date. Moreover, for the same period, 309 minors, of which 7% were girls, have attended the addiction treatment units of my ministry as follows: 74 in 2019, 74 in 2020, 85 in 2021, 36 2022, 31 in 2023, 9 in 2024. Mr. Speaker, sir, as regards to Part B of the question, I'm informed that at the Nénuphar Center, in 2019, among 99 cases, 53 were readmissions. In 2020, there were 65 admissions and 22 were readmissions. 2022, 85 admissions, 53 were readmissions. 2023, among 89 admissions, 43 were readmissions. That is around 50% of youngsters who have been admitted at 94 wards have been stabilized for a period of time or are in the process of being stabilized. Since addiction is a chronic illness characterized by the possibility of relapses and which requires long-term and in some cases lifelong care. The main objective of any treatment given to a drug user is to stabilize the patient on medical, psychological, family, societal, social, and professional level to enable the latter to reintegrate the mainstream society. However, such treatment, care, and support vary from one individual to another. The Harm Reduction Unit of my ministry currently offers the following treatment programs for drug users, including minors: medication-assisted treatment, including methadone substitution therapy, and detoxification using Suboxone and Naltrexone, and residential rehabilitation centers at Long Mountain, Nénuphar Center, Centre Frangipane, and Centre Orchidée at Beaubassin. The psychosocial aspect in the management of drug users is carried out by psychologists and healthcare professionals with the collaboration of a number of NGOs. In addition, the following therapies are also provided to the patient: family therapy, group therapy or therapy, emotion management, sports, cognitive behavioral therapy, music and basic skills, among others. Mr. Speaker, sir, with regard to part C of the question, I'm informed that according to statistics received from the police medical unit, 6 deaths due to overdose have been recorded among those below 18 years old from 2019 to 2023. Thank you.
Honorable ministre, peut-il nous dire s'il existe des mesures d'accompagnement aux parents des enfants usagers de drogue qui sont en détresse?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir. Already stated in my replies, therapies include family therapy, group therapy, and all the therapies existed, that is l'accompagnement pour des parents.
Next question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. B583.
Mr. Speaker, sir, artificial intelligence is increasingly transforming various aspects of education, providing new opportunities to enhance learning, teaching, and administrative processes. However, generative AI, with its ability to autonomously create content, presents both exciting opportunities and significant challenges in education. Post-pandemic, a wide array of open AI sources, software, and applications, such as ChatGPT and Microsoft Copilot, have been increasingly used. In the education sector, students have readily embraced these AI tools as part of their educational journeys to enhance their learning, and so have educators and lecturers as part of their teaching experiences. Mr. Speaker, sir, as stated in the UNESCO document, Generative Artificial Intelligence in Education, Think Peace, despite its numerous benefits, the integration of generative AI in education presents several challenges. Ethical concerns are significant, ranging from over-reliance on AI tools, reduced engagement, and active learning, and a possible decline in critical thinking and problem-solving skills to issues related to data privacy and intellectual property rights. There is a need to harness AI's potential while safeguarding educational standards and ethical considerations. It must be highlighted that at the international level, UNESCO recently produced the first ever global standard on AI ethics, the Recommendation on Ethics of Artificial Intelligence, a framework adopted by all 193 member states. It stresses that governments must ensure that use of AI always adheres to the principles of safety, inclusion, and diversity, transparency, and quality. In fact, not later than in May 2024, a UNESCO global survey of over 450 schools and universities found that fewer than 10% have developed institutional policies or formal guidance concerning the use of generative AI applications. Mr. Speaker, sir, controlling the use of AI in tertiary education to maintain examination standards is indeed complex and yet crucial. Our higher education institutions are aware of the challenges and risks associated with AI tools, particularly regarding assessment, student evaluation, and academic integrity. To address these concerns, higher education institutions have so far proactively integrated technological tools and established internal guidelines, such as regulations on academic dishonesty, to safeguard the standards of assignments, coursework, projects, and examinations. Tools like Turnitin and SafeAssign are employed to ensure academic integrity and originality in students' project submission. These softwares, along with the traditional role of checking for plagiarism, are now also able to detect contents created with AI. It is important to note that there are acceptable limits for similarity indices concerning generative AI matches in dissertations and other assignments. In addition to these digital safeguards, higher education institutions in Mauritius have clear guidelines on viva voce examinations for all students. Universities appoint external examiners to moderate scripts and examinations, ensuring that marking schemes and results are of the highest standard and free from bias. Mr. Speaker, sir, my ministry is currently working on the use of AI in higher education. An internal technical committee has been set up to prepare the relevant guidelines based on the guidance document from UNESCO for policymakers. HEIs in Mauritius will need to review their evaluation process to ensure that students have a good mastery of the topics dealt with in their assignments. More weighting would be placed on value addition by candidates on topics presented than on content. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Can the Honourable Minister inform the House whether there will be the new role of educator in regard to AI automating processes?
Mr. Speaker, sir, educators will obviously have to be trained because it's a new situation, and the educators, as I've just stated, as well as the lecturers, because we were talking about the tertiary sector, will be recommended to review their assessment mode, their evaluation mode, and to lay more emphasis on value addition than on content. And it is now, with the new apps available, it is now possible to even detect whether any piece of work has been generated from AI.
Next question.
B584.
Mr. Speaker, sir, there is no doubt that performance, productivity, and delivery of service are linked with the well-being of public officers. Thus, the work environment play a critical role. The Safety and Health Division and set up under my ministry is responsible for the safety and health matters in respect of public officers in ministries and departments. To this effect, a team comprising of 45 trained and dedicated officers of the Occupational Safety and Health Division is deployed to carry out inspection visits to places of work falling under the broad umbrella of the public service with a view to advising the different ministries and departments on how to comply with the provision of the safety and health legislations. Their role is to ensure that public officers operate in a physical, conducive environment which has a direct bearing on their performance. Each ministry and department from its own budget promotes safety and health within its workplace. Mr. Speaker, sir, the enhancement of work environment program is geared towards uplifting the safety and health standards in the working environment of ministries and departments through funding by my ministry. The enhancement of work environment program refers to a scheme that brings some incremental improvement on a yearly basis to the physical working environment so that public officers can operate in their best possible manner. It provides a meaningful opportunity to the ministry and departments in identifying relevant projects and implementing them with the required funding from the budget of my ministry within one financial year. A fixed amount of 4.5 million had been provided under this scheme for the last 3 years. Since its inception, all ministries and departments have no doubt benefited from this scheme for the implementation of numerous projects aimed at enhancing the work environment of public officers. I am pleased to announce that all the budgeted amount has been fully utilized and have benefited some 78 ministries and departments. Mr. Speaker, sir, as regards Part A of the question for financial year 2023-2024, 205 projects have been funded to the tune of 4.37 million under the Enhancement of Work and Environment Program. The projects funded were categorized under projects for greening of the public sector and safety and health-related projects. With your permission, Mr. Speaker, sir, I am tabling a list of projects funded and the amount disbursed in each case. Mr. Speaker, sir, with regard to the Part B of the question, I am pleased to announce the House that the scheme has been maintained with a total amount of 4.5 million for this financial year 2024-2025. I take this opportunity to thank my colleague, Honorable Minister of Finance, Economic Planning and Development, who has provided this amount to my ministry. Should the need arise, a request will be made to the Ministry of Finance, Economic Planning and Development for additional funds in the light of the number of projects that will be received from my ministry and department in this financial year. Mr. Speaker, sir, enhancing the work environment involves addressing multiple factors that contribute to the overall well-being, job satisfaction and productivity of public officers. This initiative promotes eco-friendly practices within the workplace, improves the physical work environment and fosters a good safety and health culture.
Next question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. B/585. Thank you.
Monsieur le Président, j'ai été informé par Landscope Motions Limited que les terrains détenus se trouvent principalement dans la région de Côte d'Or, Bagatelle, Hermitage, Valletta et Belle-Rive. À ce jour, Landscope Motions Limited a loué environ 731 arpents de terrains agricoles à 79 planteurs dans les régions mentionnées. Landscope Motions Limited ne possède pas de terres dans les régions de la Marie, Glen Park et Plaine Sophie. Merci.
Est-ce que je peux demander à l'honorable ministre quels sont les critères pour l'allocation de ces terrains?
Monsieur le Président, je n'ai pas ces renseignements avec moi. Je vais trouver les informations et déposer à la Chambre.
Monsieur le Président, est-ce que je peux demander à l'honorable ministre le nombre d'applications pour ces terrains?
Encore une fois, Monsieur le Président, je vais trouver les informations et déposer à la Chambre.
Next question.
B586.
Mr. Speaker, sir, on Tuesday, the 2nd of July 2024, at around 10 hours, my ministry was informed by the Pointe-aux-Sables police station of the presence of heavy fuel oil in a watercourse located next to the Pointe-aux-Sables public beach. A team of officers comprising officers of the Department of Environment of my ministry, the Police de l'Environnement, the Special Mobile Force, and the National Coast Guard immediately proceeded on site. 2 patches of heavy fuel oil of an area of about 10 square meters were observed near the bridge and along the banks of the watercourse upstream. No oil was observed in the lagoon. Subsequently, other stakeholders, including the Ministry of Blue Economy, Marine Resources, Fisheries and Shipping, the Water Resources Unit, the Forestry Service, the Solid Waste Management Division of my ministry, the City Council of Port Louis, The Beach Authority and the Mauritius Ports Authority were informed and requested to initiate actions at their level. Following an inquiry on the matter, the Police de l'Environnement served a fixed penalty notice of 25,000 rupees on the 3rd of July 2024 for causing to be deposited heavy fuel oil into watercourse at Pointe-aux-Sables, La Tourcanique region. Mr. Speaker, sir, as regards Part A of the question, preliminary investigation conducted by my ministry and the Police de l'Environnement sourced the oil spill from FM Denim Company Limited, located at SLDC Industrial Park, La Tourcanique. Around 20 liters of heavy fuel oil leaked into a stormwater drain leading to a watercourse. With regard to Part B of the question, in accordance with the Environmentally Sensitive Areas GIS Datasets 2013, this stormwater drain is classified as a canal without any categorization and is therefore not considered ecologically sensitive. Following prompt intervention, the spill has been contained in the stormwater drain, and tests carried out by the National Environmental Laboratory of my ministry showed that there has been no contamination of the lagoonal and seawater. Likewise, ambient air monitoring exercise conducted at 5 sites comprising the affected area and nearby residential areas reveal that all toxic gases measured were below the detection limits and no odor was discerned in the surrounding. Monitoring of water quality and ambient air quality is being maintained by the National Environmental Laboratory. Mr. Speaker, sir, monitoring of seawater quality was also conducted by the Albion Fisheries Research Center at 3 stations located along the shoreline at Pointe-aux-Sables on the 2nd and 3rd of July 2024. I am informed that the test results of samples analyzed were within the limits of coastal water quality guidelines for parameters tested. No oil and grease was detected at the monitoring stations. According to the National Parks and Conservation Service of the Ministry of Agro-Industry and Food Security, a site visit conducted on the 4th of July 2024 revealed that no damage occurred to wetlands, migratory birds, endemic plants, and any freshwater living organisms during the oil spill. Mr. Speaker, sir, concerning Part C of the question, the following actions were taken on site. A total of 477 meters of sorbent booms and 515 absorbent pads were placed in the watercourse to contain and recover the spilled heavy fuel oil by the SMF, National Coast Guard, along with Vivo Energy Mauritius Limited and Polygreen Mauritius Limited, whose services have been enlisted by FM Denim Company Limited. Some 1.5 tons of waste have been collected and carted away for safe disposal. Follow-up of the cleaning operations being conducted by Vivo Energy and Polygreen is being maintained on site by my ministry. The costs incurred by the various stakeholders are being compiled and will be submitted to FM Denim Company Limited, the owner of the pollutant. Mr. Speaker, sir, as regards Part D of the question, I am informed that FM Denim Company Limited is envisaging to construct a burn wall around its heavy fuel oil pump in the boiler room to avoid any risk of oil spill in the future. In terms of preparedness and response to potential accidental spill of liquid fuel and or any chemicals of hazardous nature, my ministry started an assessment of industries since 20th of March 2024 to ensure that adequate preventive measures are being taken by these industries where liquid fuel and or chemicals of hazardous nature are being stored in order to prevent any potential spill or other accidents. In line with Section 33 of the Environment Protection Act 2002. In March and April 2024, 146 industries were accordingly requested to submit information in respect to their contingency plan. I am further informed that joint site visits by officers of my ministry, along with concerned authorities, namely the Mauritius Fire and Rescue Service, the National Parks and Conservation Service, National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Center, district and municipal councils to 14 industries have been conducted since the 12th of April 2024 to assess any risk of liquid fuel or spill of chemicals. According to Section 60 of the new Environment Act 2024, which will come into force on the 1st of August 2024, any person conducting an activity associated with storing or using of liquid fuel within their premises shall undertake a risk assessment to identify all potential hazards, risks associated with storage of the liquid fuel, and prepare and submit to the Director of Environment a contingency plan to address those risks. The Director may also direct any person conducting an activity associated with storing or using of liquid fuel to review the contingency plan at a specified frequency depending on the level of risk and location of the activity. For an existing activity, the contingency plan shall be submitted within a time frame of 3 to 12 months after the coming into force of the Act. For any new activity, the contingency plan shall be submitted prior to its coming into operation. Any person who fails to comply with this requirement shall commit an offence.
Monsieur le Président, vu la vulnérabilité écologique de la région, de par sa proximité avec cette zone industrielle qui a été donc la cause de cette pollution dans ce cours d'eau, puis-je demander au ministre de l'Environnement s'il compte mettre en place, au niveau des officiers de son ministère, des visites de contrôle surprises chez les opérateurs industriels pour empêcher que de tels accidents de déversement industriels ne se reproduisent dans la région de Pointe-aux-Sables.
Monsieur le Président, comme je l'ai mentionné dans ma réponse, il y a cette enquête qui est en train d'être faite et aussi l'inventaire des industries qui manipulent actuellement ce qu'on appelle les heavy fuel oil, etc. Donc, toutes ces industries ont cette obligation de soumettre un contingency plan en cas de oil spill, en cas de déversement. Donc, nécessairement, il y a ce contrôle qui est fait par les officiers du ministère de l'Environnement. Ça peut être des contrôles avec préavis, mais ça peut être aussi des contrôles sans préavis.
So, time over. The table has been advised that PQB 587, 592, 593 have been withdrawn.
Motion.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I move that all the business on today's order paper be exempted from the provisions of paragraph 2 of Standing Order 10.
Seconded? The question is that all the business on today's order paper be exempted from the provisions of paragraph 2 of Standing Order 10. Those in favor say aye, those against say no. Aye. Ayes have it.
By Ministers, none. Public Bill, second reading.
Honourable Vice Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, sir, let us at the very outset be clear about the purpose of the two bills before the House. They guarantee fair and transparent elections. They favor accountability. It is as simple as that. Indeed, Mr. Speaker, sir, true democracy thrives on the prevalence of fair and transparent elections. And for elections to be thus seen, we must promote a level playing field. When parties compete for electoral seats, Mr. Speaker, sir, there is always an expectation for fairness and honest practices. And we have to see to it that all attempts made to skew the process are stymied and nipped in the bud. Mr. Speaker, sir, I will not time and again repeat that members of the opposition decide to leave the Parliament whenever there is a serious discussion or serious debate on. In fact, it shows their mindset. Nothing is good. Everything is fine as long as I'm not disturbed. They feel better sitting in the drawing room or sitting in the lobby than to be here and to represent the people that have elected them to sit into this Parliament. They have absolutely nothing to say. And when they open their mouths to say things, I will not use improper words, Mr. Speaker, sir, but it's worth nothing. Mr. Speaker, sir, the issue is in fact a very simple one. When we look at the legislation, the explanatory note explains that clearly. It states the following. The Representation of the People Act is being amended to impose a limit on the election expenses of a political party or a party alliance at a National Assembly election. And that party or party alliance will have a legal obligation to submit a return of such election expenses. Secondly, for an increase in election expenses that a candidate may incur at a National Assembly election, Rodrigues Regional Assembly election and local government election as well. Mr. Speaker, sir, the third one, for the regulation of temporary political headquarters and campaign quarters, commonly known as BAS, during a National Assembly election, the Rodrigues Regional Assembly election, or local government election. Mr. Speaker, sir, it's true. It's a last year mandate. We are most probably in an election year, and we all in this House would want to see elections being conducted in a sound, transparent manner. In short, we want the financing of elections to be transparent. Now, Mr. Speaker, sir, how do you explain the opposition members refusing to accept transparency and accountability? I see no reason why the honourable members on the other side of the House should be so reticent as to outright reject voting in favour of this bill. This is more than surprising, Mr. Speaker, sir. Ont-ils oublié les pétitions électorales qui sont venues avec pour semer le doute dans la tête des Mauriciens et qui ont tous été rejetées par la Cour? Quand nous agissons pour prévenir des dérapages et assainir la situation, ils refusent de soutenir le projet de loi. On one hand, they are crying out loud that things should be changed, and when actions are being taken, they back out, Mr. Speaker, sir. They view this bill as inadequate, restrictive, and to crown it all,